Hello everyone. By the way, I am Lordini Namaste. So my report is chapter 13. It's all about persuasion, the appeal to the emotion. So first, convection and persuasion in argumentation. So, we have seen that the brief does not contain any persuasive elements except what may be there on account of the persuasive nature of some of the evidence. But when we argue a case in public, we must consider not merely in the inherent strength of the evidence or the force of the inference. We have to take into account also the nature of the audience, their education and training, their experiences, their interests, their likes and dislikes, their prejudices and their habits of mind. There can be no audience of human beings to whom the appeal is entirely to the intellect, for however intellectual a group of people may be. They instinctively react to their circumstances on the basis of their feelings, their emotions. That is the essential nature of a man. So, convection and persuasion in argumentation. So, this passage highlights that effective argumentation na kinahanglan dili lamang sa pag-present og strong evidence but also appealing to the emotions, experiences, and personality sa mga audience. Kay ang mga tao or kanang bitaw mga audience nga respond to both intellect and feelings. So in this chapter, therefore, an attempt will be made to present persuasion as a counterpart of convection and the appeal to the total personality of the audience. Number two, definition of persuasion. So there are many and varied definition of persuasion. We shall quote from some authorities a few of them. So persuasion is a process by which one is made to believe a proposition by feeling, appreciating its truth. Persuasion is the art of influencing other by affecting his feelings or emotions. So persuasion aims to prepare the way for the process of convection and to produce action as a result of convection. So persuasion also is the process of inducting others to give fair, favorable, and undivided attention to propositions. So this last definition is based on the principle that so method pa ni Prof. James says, what holds attention determine action. So, what holds attention determine action. It seems as if we ought to look for the secret of an idea's impulsiveness and the urgency with which it is able to compel attention and dominate and displacing it, and whatever motor effects belong to it by nature will inevitably occur. From all these definitions as our guide, we may conclude that persuasion is the process of stirring the feelings of others to arouse and then the willingness to listen to us on or their favorable disposition to see, feel, and embrace the truth of our appeal and correction with the proposition presented to them so that they may act accordingly. So, the coordination of these three three speaker, the subject, and audience makes for true uh, eloquence and leads to maximum persuasion. So, in argumentation, appealing to human emotions and passion is crucial ni siya. Because they govern behavior more than intellect o aron effective nga maimpluwensyahan ang uban kinahanglan gyud nga una nga i-address ang ilang feelings, biases, and willingness to listen before presenting logical reasoning. Number three. So, the role of emotion in argumentation. So, in dealing with our fellow men and in argumentation, the essential nature of our work is to influence them one way or the other. It is imperative that we know the law of human behavior. We shall therefore consider the views of the psychologist. Professor Wenas enumerates the following rules of human conduct. So, si Professor Wenas adunay tulo nga enumerates about sa rules of human conduct. So, first is in dealing with those practical issues that directly affect human conduct. So, the way basis of argument is emotion. So, second, there is a strong legacy of men to believe what they wish to believe. So, in English, there is a saying which expresses succinctly the general experience of men. So it says a man convinced against his will is still the same opinion. We have a saying in the national language which expresses a similar idea translated into English. It runs as follows: there is no person harder to wake up than one who pretends to be asleep. So, so, humorous remark, the appeal to the pride and self-respect of the audience will go a long way toward conciliating them. Then, ikatulo, emotions not belonging to the argument itself affect decision. So, um, sometimes it is the tone of voice, the expression of the face, the slightest wink of the eye, an awkward gesture, or any imposing attitude that may prove this distrust to the cause of the advocate. Thus, emotions not belonging to the argument itself affect decision. So, persuasion. Persuasion is the process of influencing others pinaagi sa pagkuha sa ilang atensyon o emotion, leading them to believe and act on a proposition through the effort of the speaker, the subject, and the audience. Then, so number four, the last, necessity for knowledge of human nature. From what we have seen, it is very obvious that knowledge of human nature is essential to a debater. He ought to know the psychological reactions of men in general to their environment, and he ought to know the nature of the audience that he seeks to influence, their habits of mind, their peculiar interests, their likes and dislikes, their idiosyncrasies, their prejudices. He ought to be familiar with the custom and traditions of the people that he is to address. For it is only with a true knowledge of the nature of the audience that a speaker can adjust himself, his language, his message, and his actions to those whom he desires to influence. Aron nga mahimong effective debater, so kinahanglan gyud nga masabtan pag-ayo ang human nature or kinaaya sa tao, including emotions, ilang habits or batasan and prejudices. So they can tailor their message and actions to influence the audience, recognizing that human behavior is driven by fundamental tendencies toward duty, virtue, and happiness. So that's all my topic. So next topic is to be continued by Miss Lakaba. Thank you for watching.